All right, the Detroit Pistons season is over. Detroit going home after a second-round series defeat to the Cleveland Cavaliers. A disappointing outcome. The Pistons lose 2 games on their home floor in the final 3 of this series, including Game 7. Just a tough beat for the Pistons, who really believed they had the kind of team that could at least make it to the NBA Finals. So let's unpack where the Pistons go from here, because they do have some obvious holes on this roster. Holes that the management of this team kind of knew that they had going into these playoffs. Yes, they were a 60-win team. Yes, they were amongst the favorites to make the finals, but this was not a finished product by any stretch in Detroit. So where do they go? What do they do after all this? The most glaring need on this team is perimeter shooting. Cade Cunningham is an all-NBA first-team, second-team guy. As we saw, top 5 in the MVP. He is an outstanding offensive player. But we learned in the postseason he doesn't have enough help, especially on the perimeter. There just isn't enough perimeter shooting in Detroit to be a true championship contender. Duncan Robinson is really good, and he had a solid second-round series against Cleveland, but they need more. They need more perimeter scoring around Cade Cunningham if we are going to seriously look at them as a championship team. So that's priority number 1 for this team, and it might be 2, 3. They've got physicality. They've got defense. They've got the big point guard in Cade Cunningham who could be their superstar. They've got a lot. They check a lot of boxes in Detroit, but perimeter scoring, that's a big one. The other big question the Pistons have is how high do they go with an offer for Jalen Duren? Jalen Duren was one of the best stories of the regular season. He was one of the most improved players this year. Went from averaging around 10 points per game to averaging around 20 points per game. He was an all-star. He's probably going to be an all-NBA big man. One of the better defensive bigs in the league during that regular season. If Jalen Duren didn't play a single game after the season finale, he would probably be in line for a near max contract this offseason. That's how good he was. But the playoffs were bad. They were near catastrophic for Jalen Duren, at least when it came to contract negotiations, because all the flaws that the Pistons were a little worried about, they kind of were exposed in these 2 series. The inability to shot create beyond like 7 or 8 feet from the basket. The fact that he's not the biggest center in the NBA in terms of height. He has problems with guys like Jarrett Allen, Evan Mobley, some of the bigger, longer guys. That was evident in that series against Cleveland. Defensively, he didn't have a great postseason either, so there's some question marks there. He kind of looked like the guy Detroit was bidding on when they were having contract talks with him last offseason. So Jalen Duren went from a guy that you could see Detroit going up to $40, $50 million per year to pay at the end of the regular season to now, when I talk to league executives, it's, hey, he's kind of back where he started in that $25 to $30 million per year range. Still great money, still good money for Jalen Duren, but not the kind of dollars that he probably believed he had earned as a result of the regular season. So, look, Jalen Duren is a restricted free agent. He's probably not going anywhere. The Pistons have the ability to match any offer that's on him. But will there be a team that bids high on Jalen Duren, tries to pry him away from Detroit in order to, A, help them, and B, maybe weaken a rival? Or does Detroit are they able to find some kind of middle ground with Jalen Duren, where he finds an offer that's a little bit better than the one they were looking to give him last offseason, but not quite the one he was looking for and the one that he was in line for at the end of the regular season? This is going to be kind of the dance that the Pistons play with Jalen Duren this offseason. Again, a phenomenal season, a breakout season for Duren, but these playoffs kind of exposed that he's still got a long way to go. There are still some weaknesses in his game that need to be shored up, and those weaknesses could wind up costing him when it comes to his next contract.
Hit subscribe for more news, highlights, and analysis from the NBA on NBC.